For 200,000 cycles, the Galactic Council Imperium ruled the spiral arm through fear. Ancient elder species sat upon floating thrones of living crystal while younger civilizations knelt beneath them, categorized, ranked, and regulated. Humanity was placed at the bottom tier, classified as adaptive but volatile, useful for labor, trade routes, and minor military contracts, but never to be trusted with power. Earth's ambassadors smiled politely in council chambers of gold and obsidian while memorizing every insult hidden behind diplomatic language. The Imperium believed humans were divided, emotional, and technologically inferior. They were wrong. Behind respectful bows and carefully worded treaties, Earth was building something else. While the Imperium demanded tribute fleets and resource quotas, humanity unified its fractured governments under a silent directive known only as Continuity Protocol. Shipyards were constructed in the shadows of asteroid belts. Quantum communication relays were embedded deep beneath oceans. Defensive grids disguised themselves as civilian infrastructure. Every concession humanity made in public was calculated. Every humiliation was recorded. Then came Edict 7 Omega. Without warning, an Imperium enforcement fleet emerged above Earth under the claim of compliance verification. Billions watched as towering alien warships blocked out the sun over major cities. The Supreme Arbiter announced sanctions for alleged treaty violations. No evidence was presented. No negotiation was offered. The Imperium chose spectacle over subtlety. The first strike hit Mumbai. Orbital lances of white plasma carved through atmosphere and skyline in seconds. Jakarta followed. Cairo, Sao Paulo. Entire coastlines vanished beneath tidal shockwaves. Satellites captured everything. The Imperium transmitted it live across the galaxy as a warning to other species considering descent. 1.2 billion lives were erased in under an hour. Across Earth, emergency sirens wailed beneath burning skies. Military commanders demanded retaliation, but the order from the Unified Defense Council was simple: stand down. Do not engage. Not yet. In the council chamber light years away, elder species watched Earth burn with detached curiosity. Humanity had always complied before. They would comply again. But deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in command centers shielded by kilometers of reinforced alloy, a different transmission was sent. It did not go to the Imperium. It went to the Black Fleet. And for the first time in recorded history, Earth did not beg. It went silent. For 3 days after the slaughter, Earth transmitted nothing. No surrender. No protest. No diplomatic outrage. The Imperium interpreted the silence as shock. Analysts concluded humanity had fractured under the weight of its losses. Enforcement fleets repositioned toward other rebellious systems, confident the lesson had been delivered. They never detected the gravitational distortions forming beyond the Kuiper Belt. The Black Fleet had been humanity's greatest secret, constructed across decades in scattered shipyards hidden within asteroid clusters and rogue planetary systems. It was never listed in trade manifests, never registered in military disclosures. Officially, it did not exist. Unofficially, it was designed for one purpose. If Earth ever faced extinction-level aggression, the response would not be proportional. It would be decisive. Admiral Elias Vorn stood aboard the flagship Resolute as final synchronization checks completed. Unlike Imperium vessels adorned with ceremonial spires and glowing insignias, the Black Fleet ships were matte black, angular, and silent. No decorative lights. No broadcasting beacons. Only layered armor, adaptive shields, and weapons built around a single doctrine: overmatch. When the order was given, space folded. Hundreds of human warships executed synchronized microjumps directly into the formation of the Imperium Enforcement Armada still orbiting Earth. Not around it. Inside it. Imperium commanders had seconds to register the anomaly before their sensors failed. Human quantum jammers flooded every channel. Targeting systems glitched. Defensive shields flickered as unknown frequencies bypassed harmonics the Imperium believed invulnerable. Then the retaliation began. Kinetic lances accelerated tungsten rods to near-relativistic speeds, punching through cruiser hulls like paper. Directed energy arrays sliced through command vessels with surgical precision. Boarding drones infiltrated carriers, disabling reactors from within. The enforcement fleet that had annihilated Earth's cities disintegrated in under 47 minutes. Across the galaxy, emergency relays attempted to broadcast distress calls, but humanity anticipated that too. Simultaneous strikes crippled Imperium communication nexuses across 12 sectors. The Empire's nervous system went dark. On the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Vorn finally spoke, his voice steady despite the memory of burning cities. "This is not vengeance," he transmitted on an open galactic channel as wreckage drifted around Earth. "This is consequence." For the first time in its history, the Galactic Council Imperium realized it had not punished a lesser species. It had awakened one. Panic spread through the Imperium faster than any human weapon. Systems that had relied on Council protection began to question whether that protection still existed. Client species that had endured centuries of exploitation watched the destruction of the enforcement fleet replay across intercepted feeds. The myth of Imperium invincibility shattered overnight. But humanity was not finished. Phase 2 initiated 72 hours after the first counterstrike. Rather than target civilian worlds, the Black Fleet moved strategically, dismantling military infrastructure with ruthless efficiency. Shipyards were neutralized. Weapon depots vaporized. Strategic command hubs disabled through cyber infiltration before a single shot was fired. Each strike was precise, calculated, documented. Supreme Arbiter Kael'thran convened an emergency assembly within the crystalline halls of the capital world. Elder species demanded explanations. Intelligence officers struggled to comprehend how a Tier 3 civilization had developed shield-penetrating technology decades ahead of Imperium science. Fear replaced arrogance in quiet, uncomfortable silence. Then humanity did something unexpected. Instead of launching an assault on the capital, Earth transmitted evidence. Records of exploitative treaties. Economic manipulation algorithms. Classified orders authorizing Edict 7 Omega. The genocide was exposed not as punishment, but as political theater designed to reinforce dominance. The broadcast reached every system the Imperium had ever subjugated. Rebellions ignited. Peripheral fleets refused Council commands. Resource worlds declared independence. The Imperium's authority, built on fear, collapsed when fear no longer worked. Finally, the Black Fleet arrived at the edge of the capital system. Hundreds of matte black vessels formed a silent blockade beyond weapons range. No bombardment followed. No ultimatum countdown echoed through space. Admiral Vorn appeared before the Council in a secure projection chamber. His uniform was unadorned. His tone controlled. "Humanity will not commit your crimes," he stated. "We will not erase your cities as you erased ours. But your era of unchecked authority ends now." The demand was simple: dissolution of the Imperium's hierarchical structure and immediate formation of a representative galactic assembly where no species held permanent dominance. The elder races understood the alternative. For the first time in 200,000 cycles, they voted from a position of weakness. And they voted yes. The transition was neither instant nor easy, but it was irreversible. The Galactic Council Imperium formally dissolved within one standard cycle. Its enforcement fleets were dismantled under supervision of a newly formed interstellar oversight coalition led jointly by multiple species, including humanity. Permanent hierarchical tiers were abolished. Voting power was redistributed proportionally. Transparency protocols replaced secrecy clauses that had shielded elder races for millennia. Across Earth, reconstruction began. Cities rebuilt with memorial foundations honoring the 1.2 billion lost. In orbit, fragments of destroyed Imperium warships were left intentionally visible, a reminder etched into the night sky of what unchecked arrogance had cost. The galaxy watched humanity closely, expecting the same cruelty once inflicted upon them. It never came. Instead, Earth funded relief convoys to former client species destabilized by Imperium collapse. Human engineers shared defensive technologies openly, ensuring no single empire could dominate again. Trade networks were redesigned for mutual benefit rather than extraction. Supreme Arbiter Kael'thran stood trial before the new assembly. Evidence of Edict 7 Omega was undeniable. Yet rather than execution, he was sentenced to life confinement and historical accountability. His testimony became mandatory study in every member world's leadership academies, a living warning against tyranny. On the anniversary of the attack, a galaxy-wide transmission replaced the spectacle once used to broadcast destruction. This time it showed a field of lights orbiting Earth, one for each life lost. Names scrolled across screens in hundreds of languages. Admiral Vorn addressed the assembly one final time. "We were underestimated because we were patient," he said. "We were attacked because we were peaceful. Let history record this clearly: we did not unleash wrath. We enforced balance. Humanity did not claim dominion. It claimed responsibility." The lesson echoed far beyond Earth's system. Power built on fear is fragile. Power built on cooperation endures. And as the new Galactic Assembly convened beneath equal banners instead of towering thrones, one truth became undeniable across the stars. The Imperium had slaughtered 1.2 billion on live broadcast. What followed was not chaos. It was the end of empires.